Hey guys, my name is DrSharnael Wolverton Sehon, and I wanted to address some things here based on, did I just get myself out? A post that I posted yesterday about the solar storm and or flares, different things going on in the atmosphere. I have received so many things from you guys asking questions, how to deal with it, like what do we do? Other people saying, thank goodness I'm not crazy. Maybe you've had some emotional things going on, or sleep patterns different, or you're seeing a lot of different synchronicities, different things like that. There's so many different things. If you did not see my post, please go back and look. It just gives some different things that may or may not occur during this time. Today will be the last day of it. I'm praying. But I just choose to address some just a few simple things that we can do, and I want to give you some experimental things that have already been proven that we can actually implement and apply into what we are doing now, and how this relates to us in the biofield and within our belief system and with our heart too. So a solar storm is basically kind of like a sun burp or a sun belch, just like different reasons why it happens. Hey, Aaron. But it's just an extra bit of frequency or movement or shift in what's going on. And it does affect us. People, maybe not in a physical way, in a sense that like our earth shifts, or we have a earthquake or something, cancel clear, but I mean it does affect us in the frequency, in the air, in the resonance, in the sound, in the code of what's going on. And you have to understand too, we in our staying power have a lot of things that we can do innerly to create a space of security and to not be shifted by the external, but to be able to stay. And so I do hope that you guys are going to share this, because there's some people who are very aware of what has gone on in the last few days and maybe still be going on for some of you. And then some people are just oblivious to what's going on and they're thinking it's them. Maybe you are one of those people that you are just like, what is going on? And you just think that it's you and that you're crazy, and you are not crazy. This is just what's really, really happening. These are some results. And I'm going to give you some grounding things on how we can actually shift that, transmute that, and just to stay in that staying power. Our heart, your heart, is 100 times more electric than your brain. Okay, write that down. Yes, Robert, I touch and I stay. Your heart, again, I'm going to say this. Please write this down. Your heart is 100 times more electric than your brain. Your brain is very, very huge in electricity and frequency and sound and code and creating. As a matter of fact, your brain can't, just by your thoughts, because thoughts matter, thoughts create, thoughts make matter or atoms or reality. Just your thoughts create a 55 kilowatt broadcasting station sending a message around the world just by your thoughts. Now your heart is 100 times more than that. Your heart is 100 times more than that, okay? That electricity, that code, those things that come from this generator, which is the biggest generator of your personal body, is really, really important. That would be measured on an EKG. Your heart is also 5,000 times, mark it down, 5,000 times more magnetic in the magnetic waves that come out of the heart, more than your brain. I mean, this is epic, and I'm talking about this in my new book too, but this has all been established by the Institute of Heart Math. It's been proven. There's no question about it, and maybe more, but this is what they do know. This is what they could get on a scale. What does this mean? That means if you are feeling something, your feelings are the ones that are mattering. Your feelings and your emotions, your beliefs. Belief isn't just up here. A belief is here, and belief is what we're feeling about something. So if you're feeling about something or a situation, whether that's really, really good or really, really bad, that's going to send out an electric current radiating out to other people and other things, and you definitely are affecting people. And also it's magnetic, and you only get a match. So if it's magnetic and you're going out and you're dealing with fear or what ifs, then the probabilities that those are going to be magnetized to you are pretty high, because that's a big deal. So we have to really take focus right now on what we're thinking and what we're feeling. I know you guys have seen a ton of my videos. I've been talking about this for 10 years. Quantum is real. Supernatural is real. All of these things are very, 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 very real. This is not just like a fad. The invisible is visible. We can create with our mind and with our hearts and with our thoughts. And when those things are in unison, then we have a wave that goes out that is way more stronger than anything that can come on the external. So we have to be super diligent and super disciplined. The word discipline comes from disciple, on what we're feeling, what we're thinking. We have to train and practice to keep our hearts in love, to keep our hearts in only thinking on true things, things that are positive. And I'm speaking to myself, trust me. Your beliefs will change the electronic environment around you. Your beliefs and your feelings will change what's going on in the electric current around you. And so we have so many possibilities that are laid out before us, so many possibilities and probabilities, and in God, it says, the scriptures say there's nothing impossible with God. Everything is possible with God. And when we stay in God and we are in union, the probabilities that go out are godly. And then they're godly, meaning based in love, meaning it's a really high vibration, it's a really high wave, a really high frequency that's going out, even more than your mind, even more than your thought process, but the heart is going out and radiating out, but also coming back into that magnetization. Caroline's bringing up a good point. Yes, for those of you who are just popping on, I'm talking about the biofield around you. Thank you, Caroline. This biofield around us, they call it bio because it's two things about this field. When your heart feels, it's going to go pump something out, in code, color, different things into this biofield, into your 15-inch radius or more, depending on who you are. And it not only radiates out, but it also magnetizes in. It's electric and magnetic, your electric magnetic field. So we have so many probabilities, you guys. I'm going to get emotional. There are so many outcomes for you personally. You have probabilities about your job. You have probabilities about your spouse. You have probabilities about your management of your money. You have probabilities about if you're going to get this house or not. You're going to have probabilities on, healthcare. There's so many different things. And whatever you're feeling about those subjects is going to create something in this biofield, and that's going to either attract something really good or attract something really not so good that you wish. I want to, if you could look, in fact, if you could actually look at probabilities, if you could look at what waves look like, there are, what's the word I'm looking for? There are waves of probabilities that come out, that pump out of into our biofield. And when they've looked at this, when they've actually seen what the waves look like spirals and pulsating waves that, I wish I had a way to make a cartoon or something, but just imagine that there's pulsating waves that spiral and that go out, and all of them, as they pulsate, they're pulsating out and then they're coming in. They're pulsating out, coming in. They contract, just like birth. They're birthing, and they come and they go. 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 What are they coming in and going? Whether you're going to get the thing and do the thing that's good, or have fear and contract. You're going to get the thing, and then you're going to pull the thing into you. I mean, there's things going out and things going in. All of these waves, all of these things, they pulse out and they move, and you are creating that. You're creating that all around you, even as you walk, even as you drive in your car. There is these pulsating things that come in and out, all mixed based on what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what you're talking about. And essentially, the biggest one of all, trump, is your heart. What you're feeling, what you are feeling about that. So in your loads of probabilities, and I say loads of probabilities because your outcome depends on your feelings and what you think, you know, maybe even the collective consciousness of feelings. But your probabilities about the job, the relationship, the health, the property, the whatever vision is, whatever the vision is that you have or that you hold in your care, all things are possible. Again, everything is possible, and everything will be pulsed out and contracted, pulsed out, radiating, and then magnetizing, whether it's positive, 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 and then coming in positive, positive, positive to get your results that you're actually choosing, hopefully. And or if you have that fear involved or any of those negatives involved, then you could be pulling that into you too. But the good news is, as we remember, meaning in union, and we stay, meaning God and us, that we are not separate, that God isn't up there, God's not over there, He's not behind us, He's before us. Now He is in us, and He's everywhere. She, it, whatever, Jesus is a He, but most of the scriptures will say God is a He. There's no gender on source. Creator cannot have a gender, but source code, energy, God, creator, spirit, creation, the creator, whatever you want to call this amazingness of love, if you want to call it that, love in you, as we remember love in us and we stay in that and we hold the vision that God gives you personally, what you're supposed to do in this time and this day, as you hold on to that, that gives you staying power. Imagine a world of staying power in only love, in supersonic love. Imagine a generation of young people who only stay in love. You know what they call a wave that pulsates only one way, in and out, in a positive force, and without the mixed energy, without the what's the word I'm looking for? Without the energetic in and outs, without the purgatory of energy, of just staying in that way, of like not getting anything, but just staying with the mundane, because the fear and the love are like crossing each other out. When we have this staying power, and we remember frequency hopping, which go watch my video on that, when we have this staying power, there is another wave that's called a standing wave. A standing wave. What is a standing wave? A standing wave is when you get into agreement with God and you, love, or whatever the situation is. You can have a standing wave and something super negative as well. But I'm going to say we're going to get in a standing wave of love right now. I'm going to invite you that we are going to get in a standing wave of only love right now. And that we're going to make that our mission as missionaries. That love will be and is our mission as we are here doing life in love right now. Because that's the only reason why we're sent. We are here presented to be a present, to be a presence, to be with God here, to do some things and to create some cool stuff. You're going to be here anyway. Let's create some cool stuff, right? So as we stay in our staying power, and remember, I am love and I already stay. I am already loved and I stay in my mission, which is love. As I stay, and that's my standing wave, meaning there's no contraction of fear. There's no contraction of doubt. There's only a contraction. The only contraction I ever have is the magnetizing love. Yes, love goes out, and yes, love comes right back in, and it goes right out, and it comes back in, and it goes right out, and it comes back in, and it goes right out, and it comes back in. Love and staying power. Love and a standing wave. God and a standing wave. Spirit and a standing wave. You know what we can create in that source? And the source, the only one uni-source, we create cool things for the entire planet. Do you understand how big this is? If and when we get there and stay. Let me give you some examples. There was an experiment that was done where they actually took a tube and they put photons in this tube. The tube that carried the photons, inside the photons, they were moving around because light is like energetic and moves. And you are light, by the way. And in frequency of every word and everything we do and say, there's movement. Yes? So in the tube, there's nothing else that we know that is in this tube except for photons. And they watched it. They watched the light move around. Well, someone got this crazy idea. Let's put in some DNA in there. Let's see what happens if we put the DNA in the tube, right? So they put the DNA in the tube and something crazy happened. Not crazy, but cool. DNA went in the tube and the photons connected to the DNA. The photons attached themselves to the DNA and made the shape of whatever the DNA was, whether it was a spiral or a square or a circle or whatever. The DNA moved the photons, the light, into the space of the exact shape that the DNA was in. We all have DNA, by the way. Did you know that? Do you know that you have a signature code DNA all the way back? And that signature code is a big, huge factor in our realm out here because there is a energetic code to your signature. And that signature code goes out here and it's felt and it's seen by some people and it has patterns and creates patterns based on what you believe and or what anyone else does. So now this DNA is in the tube, right? And they're watching the photons be moved and aligned by the DNA. Light moved by the command of what the DNA was. Do you see what I'm saying? And then they were like, you know what? That's kind of cool. We'll do that 100 times and make sure it stays. And sure enough, every single time did the same thing. And then someone got the bright idea, what happens if we remove the DNA from the tube? Let's take it out. So they took the DNA out. And all that was left was the photons, the light. And you know what? The light stayed in the same structure that it was with the DNA gone. Do you understand? The DNA was there. It created the photons and the light to form and align in the way that the DNA was. The DNA was removed and there was still a formation. It was a phantom formation. They actually call it a DNA phantom formation. You guys can look all of this up. This is what I've been studying for years. And I'm saying it stays. Yes, Caroline says some days it stays for 30 days. It actually can stay a lot longer than that. There's staying power in this. And what I think about when I look at this stuff is in the scriptures when it talked about guys or girls, praying over handkerchiefs. Here you take a handkerchief or a blanket or some sort of whatever and give it to somebody. And then your DNA is there, the photon, if your belief system is there of like life or love or health or abundance or whatever it is, the light aligns with that, y'all. Do you understand the power of who you are? The light aligns with that on a physical object that can be transferred, that can be held, that can be given to someone. Okay, I think about that in the scriptures. I think about Peter's shadow, okay? Peter's shadow, the biofield, the electronic biofield of what he walked in. And yes, Jesus, who touched me? Remember? He's like, who touched me? Right? And this is the power that you have. This is the power that we have. And on a collective, oh my God, think about what we can do if we actually engage in remembering love. So, as we stay in staying power, as we remember and remind, right here, the biggest one, the biggest creator of all the stuff, right here, as we remember and remind that alignment, if it's in a God alignment, the photons, the light has to align with that. And yeah, we may have some stuff in the signature code that's not so great. Clean it out. Get a new thought. It's as simple as if I say to you, go think about the Eiffel Tower, okay, and now I want you to think about the Statue of Liberty. That's how fast. I love working with Bob Tennyson because he'll say, like, well, what are you thinking or whatever? And I've heard someone say, like, well, I'm really sad. And he says, like, and now what? And they're like, I'm sad. And he's like, okay, and now what? I'm just making this up. But he's proving and showing us But it takes only a thought, and a thought with the feeling is what is huge. And then if you add the words to it too, the frequency and the vibration of words too, holy cow, this is the witness. So think in your head, again, going back to when you are, let's say you are with whoever situation on a biofield level. If you were the one who is more awake, if you were the one who's more awake and more passionate and in more of a standing wave of love, that means we can actually be in someone else's biofield, leave our code in their field, in their home, in their wherever, post office, school, you fill in the blank. We get to leave our trail of photo light in those places for them to still experience long after we are gone. And I know like Bob Jones and Wade Taylor, they had like, I knew their mentors because I mentored under both of them. And when I had this one friend, and anytime Bob would come over or Wade, if they stayed in their house, the people who were mentored by them, after they would leave, instead of like taking the sheets and washing them, they would be like, no, we're keeping the sheets. We're laying in the sheets the next like however many days. Like, you know, I was like, the anointing, right? I mean, whatever. You call it whatever. It's still real. It's still code. It's still, gosh, you know, fill in the blank. But in the same trail of what we're talking about with these solar storms or solar flares or sun burps or sun belches, you know, whatever you want to call them, or maybe you are in a situation where it's other people who are really not other people, but it's really you. It's really me. Everyone on the outside is just us pushed out, okay? But as we are having these things pop up in our space and we know that A, it's us, just using us to remind us to get back into remembering and to love. And as whatever things happen on the external, we can go back to remember, this is an inside job. I got this. You can't control other people, guys. I can't control other people. What I can manage is me and my thoughts and my feelings and what I talk about. I'm not going to go on someone else's Facebook and argue and debate on their beliefs, because that's just not what I do. And if someone comes in and says something on my page that doesn't line up with what I choose to put on my personal page, and guess what? It's going to get taken off and you're probably going to be blocked. You know, and I'm not going to get in all kinds of war discussions about what you believe or whatever, because whatever you believe is so freaking awesome. Stay where you are. You know, if that's what is true to you, then you do you. Let me do me. I'm called to do this. You're called to do whatever. That's the cool thing about God, is we're all in different places and we all get a different essence and expression of who we are and what we do. But there's no such thing as time. We cannot manage people and we cannot manage time. That is an illusion. We cannot fix other people and we cannot manage time. We all get the same time. It's not about time management, and it's not about management of people. It's about managing us and managing our own productivity. Whatever our productivity is, our creativity, our effectiveness, our thoughts, our words, our feelings, that's what we can manage. That's what you can manage. And so no matter what kind of things come with the government or the solar flares or the solar burps or whatever's going on, people who show up in your realm to remind you of what you're doing, that people, you know, I say people, when you use other people to show you that you still have room to love, then that's time where we can go back into self-management and go, oh, I choose to remember love. I choose to stay. I choose to be in a standing wave of love, meaning there's no room for anything else. And the only way to do that is to replace it. Okay, you guys have heard about the experiment with the marshmallows. And if you haven't, I'll give you a quick sum. Hey, shh. The kids with the marshmallows, they were put in a room. They had a plate of marshmallows. I think it was like 3, 6, 7 marshmallows. And they said, sit in this room with marshmallows. And if you can be in this room for a certain amount of time, we're going to leave you alone. And when we come back, if you haven't eaten the marshmallows, you can have the whole plate. But if you eat any of the marshmallows, you're in trouble and you're not going to get any more marshmallows, right? So they had kids, you know, isolated in this room. They didn't even tell them how long they were supposed to be in there, but they were in there and they were sitting there with the plate of marshmallows. Now, some of the kids sat there and just stared at the marshmallows. stared at the marshmallows, picked them up, smelled them, played with it, whatever, put it down, got all excited, whatever. And, you know, most of those kids who spent all of their focus and energy on the marshmallows, guess what? They ate them or took a bite, and that didn't serve them. Because then when the adults came back in 30 minutes or whatever, they're like, okay, well, you didn't pass, and you don't get any more marshmallows, and they were kicked out of the program. I love when this happens. So, and the kids who did pass, you know what they did? It's so interesting. They had kids who sat in front of the 3 or 4 marshmallows who just sat there and looked, and then they were like, yeah, this isn't serving me. They got up and they turned their chair around. They took the plate and put it underneath the table. Now, there was no other furniture in here but a table and a chair in a big room. Some of them got up and walked on the other side of the room and faced the wall. Some of them went and sat up against the room where they couldn't see the marshmallows anymore. Some of them sat with their back, you know, to whatever. They sang Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, tied their shoes, played with their hair, did anything but focus on the marshmallows. Guys, there's something to this. And guess what? All of those people, all those little kids, they were 4, 5, 6 years old, all of them who passed and didn't eat the marshmallows, they took their focus completely off, like it didn't even exist. Do you understand? Like completely ghost out. Like all distractions. Anything from your purpose and your call. You have to lay it down. No more distractions. Someone, as a matter of fact, I was just in this thing a few minutes ago. What was the thing that they said? It was brilliant. They said something about ghosting all distractions or stopping all distractions cold. Like not even making it a thing. Like there's no room for that in your standing wave. Do you understand? There is no room for that in a standing wave of love. There's no doubt. There's no fear. There's no room in that. Otherwise, you're going to have a contraction of fear and love, fear and love, fear and love, or whatever, doubt or anger or jealousy or rage or whatever. You know, cancel clear all that. If it's a standing wave of love, there's only a standing wave of love. That's the only thing. And that's all there is, to be honest. Only love wins. Do you see that? Do you understand that? I invite you to really, really grasp this, because these kids who stayed in love, who Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star and ABC'd in the corner and didn't put their focus on what they couldn't have, because if energy doesn't care if you can't have it. If your focus is on, I don't have this yet, then energy creates. It must be really important that she doesn't have this yet. And then you stay there. Okay, or you could say, I'm so glad that I made it and it was awesome, and now I'm out of this room and have my marshmallows, or whatever. You make up your thing, your relationship, your job, your house, your health. You know, be in the outer already happening and stay in the, now that it's already happened, what's new and different for me? What's so great about it? Stay in the feelings of it happened already. The miracle is already here. That's where the love is. That's where the staying power is. Being in the sea, looking out at the D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, P. What are you doing now that you have your miracle? Not in what someone's doing to you, saying to you now. Those are distractions. Those are things trying to take away from your standing wave. Those are things trying to hook you in from your standing wave. Keep your standing wave. You understand? Do whatever you want. I'm inviting you, and I'm inviting me to keep my standing wave and to stay. I am love and I already stay. I am already loved and I stay. So as we do this, look, let's talk about a few things. How do we stay? What are some things that we can do? Yeah, I have some suggestions. Number one, just stay on the inner as much as possible. Not to work or focus or look at anything external as much as possible. Just stay on what we can do, what I can manage. I can manage my productivity, I can manage my thoughts, I can manage my feelings, and I can replace them when anything comes up. Scripture says, we demolish all arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God or the truth of God. And we take captive every thought and we make it obedient. How do we make it obedient? Replace it with something else. I don't care if it's Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star or tying your shoes over and over again. Do something else to hold that space in a positive way, to hold love. Do not let any doubt or fear or focus or a distraction keep you from your standing wave. Stay in your standing wave. How do we stay there too? Decree, outcome map, replacement, I just did like 3 or 4 treasure maps where I just took out like pictures and words and glued them up, and I have them on 3 or 4 different things of people I'm going to be working with, things that I'm going to be doing, things that I'm already doing and finishing, projects I'm finishing, money things that I already see happening and done, whatever it is. Nutrition is key, you guys. Vibe up on your food. If whatever you're eating doesn't support you, then, and this is to me more than any of y'all out there, I'm positive. Like, I had my lunch today and I was like, I'm guessing this won't be too great for my cells. Pretty much, not that it was bad, but I don't think it really helped my cells, right? So even with some of the liquids that I'm drinking, I have been drinking more water than ever because I choose clarity. I choose crystal clear. I choose to be to have clarity in my thoughts and to have clarity in my body. I'm doing a parasite cleanse right now. You know why? Because I don't want the energy of parasites interrupting and or distracting my own clarity. Because guess what? Parasites have energy. Did you know that? Yeah, and so if you're interested in doing a parasite cleanse, let me know, inbox me, and I'll tell you how to do that. But I'm doing some things nutritionally. I'm using oils. I'm using crystals. I'm getting in the sun. I'm getting grounded. Lots of different oils. Grounding is a good one. Field is a good one. My absolute favorite right now, and really for my life, has been rum and chamomile. A lot of these things will help abundance in your creation process and in your standing wave process. Those are really, really good. And here's some other things. Get with people that are at least doing what you're doing or doing what you're choosing to do. I just made some really big commitments to work with some people that I know have done the things that I haven't done yet. And it's kind of scary. But I also know that I have got here where I am with the people that I've got here with. And I know that there's more. And so I've invested in a few other people who have already done the things that I'm choosing to do that I've never done before, to help me remember how to do it and hold space for that, and to give me any advice, or just even being in their field of it already being done, or listening to. And you could do that through videos. You could do that, you know, get a coach, friend. I have a mastermind group of girls that are freaking amazing. Gigi's, we call her. So I don't know if I'm allowed to say that out loud. I have a group of girls that we talk about things every single day, about what we're doing, what we're learning, how it applies to us. I have some really great friends, and it's pretty freaking awesome. And I also have people that I am investing in as a coach, paying of people who are doing things that I haven't yet done yet, just because, not just for me and my group, but for my family and for my whole life, and for all of you. I'm investing for all of you because you guys are my people too. And as you upgrade, I upgrade. As I upgrade, you upgrade. We lift each other up because God in us is awesome. So programs like that, people, coaches, get out in the dirt, go to the beach, listen to the ocean, get in the sun. I know that's probably not going to happen in North Dakota right now or Montana, but those are some things that I am doing. And take your vitamin D, take your supplements, do, you know, your B's and your C's, all the things to keep the flow of things going. Go get a colonic, get in a sauna, get a raindrop, go get a massage, get some movement in your body, clear your house up. I just did a whole video on clearing. That does a lot of movement. That keeps a lot of things, so there's more space for love, more staying power for love. So again, the whole solar thing, yeah. Stuff on the outer is gonna happen. It's not about the outer. You can be the staying power. We can be the staying power that actually shifts the earth. And all of that other stuff won't matter. So as a collective consciousness, when there is so much power in numbers, you guys, do you understand that they've done studies after studies where 2 or 3 or more are gathered? I am in your name. I am in your presence. There I am. That's for real. And they've done more studies where 7 to 8 people in a collective agreement I mean, go look at some of these studies that they're doing. There's 51 of us on here right now, and there's been up to 100 at different times. For everyone who comes back to do the replay, and whoever one shares, which there was over 100 shares on just the thing I did yesterday. Imagine just 100 of us all sharing to your space of people, to maybe your 2,000 friends, and then them all having that standing wave of love, what we can do on the face of this planet. To the face of our government, to the face of our schools, our post office, our media. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I don't know if some of you experience a little Facebook, Instagram glitch here and there, but yes, butterfly effect. We got to get to where we're connected, because we are, outside of Facebook. And I love Facebook. This has been great that I can post this here and get some people on the same track. And I'll tell you, we got to be remembering that we are so connected anyway that it doesn't even take a phone call. That our thoughts remotely can be felt. You know, like if you get that, you're like, oh, I need to call so-and-so, and then they're calling you. That thing. That has to be more real. That for me is something I'm choosing to really connect more with in this season. So, I hope this is helpful for you. I do hope that you will share and tag some people on this, because I do believe with everything in me that this is a really important message for us to get maybe some mental pictures of what waves look like versus a standing wave, and why it contracts and what makes that contract, and how you can change your outcome with the things that I shared today, how your friends can change the outcome. Please do share that. Spirit is the best and the only. Love wins. Anything that's not connected to spirit is always going to fail. Any idea that's not connected to God will always fail. And so we've got to really get inside and connect to God again in a way that we haven't so far. And not only with ourselves, but with each other. We have to connect with each other in the love and pulsate only that in our staying power and in our standing wave. So I love your feedback. I'd love to hear if you have any questions. Please comment, post, whatever. I'd love to hear any of this. And I love you. I hope you know. The only reason why I do this, these classes and these Facebooks, is because I do love you. And I do see your victory. I vote your victory. I love your miracles. And please report your miracles to me. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.